Hello everyone, Pallybro here. We are in Archeage today. Some people like to say Archeage. Some people like to say Archeage. Personally, I don't give a shit either way what you say. I have been playing this game for the last 2 days. I took some time for myself. You guys know I don't take days off very often at all, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take this weekend, I'm gonna relax. I'm not gonna do much of anything. I'm just gonna jump into this game and see what can come of it. So I'm going to talk about my first impressions. It's going to be pretty chill. It's going to be pretty relaxed. So, I mean, if you're looking for a super exciting video, this is not going to be it. Also, if you don't want to hear my opinions, this is not the video for you, because we're going to be talking about my opinions. Oh, I thought he was dead. Okay, so, Archeage. It's an MMO that was released a while ago over in the Asian market, and it was developed by XL Games. It's important to distinguish that it was developed by XL Games. Tryon has published this game. Tryon, now that I think about it, I don't remember whether or not they made Rift or if they just published Rift, but Tryon has published this game to the West, and it's been a little bit of a rocky start. Alright, I finished off my orange juice. We don't have to worry about that distraction anymore. It's been a little bit of a rocky start, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But first, I want to show you some of the cool fucking shit that this game has. So this is a Mirage portal. This takes you to the area that will allow you to see what you can buy with a currency in the game. The currency is called Gilda Stars. And this Mirage area is fucking amazing. When I was here for the first time, like, my jaw dropped. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. But here, we'll go off this direction. First of all, you can glide in this game. And one thing I really, really like about the gliders is the fact that it is not a flying mount. You can only go a certain distance on this thing. Granted, you can raise your altitude every 20 seconds, but you can only go so far in this thing before you hit the ground. And I really like that about the gliders, because this game is very PvP focused. There is a lot of PvE elements, there's a lot of crafting elements as well, but this game is very, very, very PvP focused. And in my opinion, what killed World of Warcraft PvP was the simple fact that everyone was always in the air. You never encountered anyone on the ground. They were always flying around, they were always above you, and that made the world feel very empty. And that started around the time of Burning Crusade, once everyone got access to flying mounts. Yes, they still tried to make world PvP interesting in World of Warcraft, but it never recaptured that same feeling, at least in my opinion, of good old vanilla WoW world PvP. So, gliders are cool, and I like them. So these are some of the houses that you can buy. In this game, there are designated areas where you can lay down a house. These are some of the houses you can get. For instance, this is a mansion. These are the biggest houses that you can get, at least from my side, from my faction. And they're fucking huge, and I'm sure they cost a lot of money. Let's see. These are going to cost 1,000 Gilda Stars to get just the blueprints for these houses. And it's going to take several more packs of lumber, iron, and stone in order to craft that big old thing. On top of that, you're also going to have to pay taxes every week in order to keep the house for yourself. If you don't pay your taxes, the land, I think, will be reclaimed by the region, and someone else can buy that spot that your house was in. I think that's how it works anyway. They want to make it so only active players can have houses. Only active players that are playing the game are going to be the ones that can have a staple in the world, and I really, really like that idea. Now, granted, when the housing thing was explained to me initially, it seemed like you could just kind of place your house wherever you wanted to, and that's not the case. It's only designated regions. And I'm playing on a very populated server, and the areas for housing seem like they're all filled right now. So if I even wanted to consider something like this, I would have to wait until the next tax thing went by and hope someone didn't pay their taxes. Over here, you can see a beach-style house, but what I'm more excited about are these ships. This game, let me show you the map. This game is split up into 2 regions. You have the Western Province down here and the Eastern Province, where I reside. And you can sail across the ocean there to the other faction. Now, this is a PvP game. There are no PvE servers, so when you go over to that other side, every enemy player you encounter will likely try to kill you. But there are trading missions that you can do they're very, very profitable, that you can complete by going over into enemy territory. And one of the ways you can get over there is by using a boat. So I would assume I'm going to be making something along this line first. So in order to get one of these, I need 50 Gilda stars. Currently, I have 17, so there's a way to go with that. But I am actually working on acquiring the lumber and the iron and the construction materials. I'm working on that right now. It's not going too bad either. Now, you might notice I'm broke. I have 2 silver to my name right now. I completed some trade runs earlier today that are going to be earning me some gold later on. But we can go ahead and get on this ship. I don't think we can pilot this particular one. We can go ahead and try. No, it doesn't look like we can pilot this one. Normally there's a couple more around that you can try out, but I don't see them. Like, they're usually sitting in the water here. But I don't see them. So, naval combat is a thing. You can actually be a pirate in this game, which is so fucking cool. You know, in MMOs, you're always portrayed to be the hero. You're the good guy who wants to go in and defeat all of the bad guys. So, for instance, if you're Horde, again, referencing World of Warcraft because it's the MMO I have the most experience with. I've played a ton of fucking MMOs, though, don't worry. Referencing World of Warcraft, if you're a Horde, you're led to believe that Horde are the good guys. And the Alliance are the evil scum, and you must vanquish them. In this game, in contested areas, you can kill your own faction if they piss you off. Like, if someone is taking a mining node in front of you, you can kill them, and it be a... Well, I wouldn't say totally acceptable, and I'll tell you why in a second. But you can kill them if they piss you off, and it's a game mechanic that's okay, even if they're in the same faction as you. But what will happen is that crime will leave a bloodstain on the ground because you committed a crime against someone in your own faction. And then, if you earn enough crime points, the next time you die, by any means, you'll be taken into a courtroom. The courtroom will have a jury and a judge, and the jury will consist of people that reported your crimes. And then between the jury and the judge, you will be it'll be determined whether or not you're guilty. And then if you are guilty, you'll have to serve a certain amount of time in the prison in the game. There is a way to break out, and usually the sentence isn't even very long. It's like 30 minutes or something. But there's actually a fucking justice system in this game, and I think that's amazing. So there's a lot more to explore here. I only wanted to show you the ships and the houses. Next, I'll take you guys to my farm, I guess, because that's another big part of the game. But you can also steal things as well. So the only... murdering people isn't the only way to get criminal points. You can also... Like, if someone plants their... Let's say someone plants a tree out of a protected area. You can cut that tree down. You're like, yeah, fuck you, I'm gonna take this thing. Or at least that's how I understand the premise of how that works. I haven't actually stolen anything from anyone, and intentionally, anyway. It looks like I actually have if you look at my stats, but I just love the fact that you're able to do what you want. You're able to take advantage of situations. And it's very, very cool. So these trade missions, I'll show you those since we're right next to it, and then we'll go to my farm after, whenever this loading screen decides to finish. These trade missions are done by collecting a certain number of items, walking up to one of these things, and then crafting a particular pack. For instance, the first one they have you craft in this game is the Iris Lava Spice. And it didn't take me very long to acquire these items once I had my own farm. But I acquired these items, and then we could probably find someone with it on them. After I acquired those items, you craft them, and it makes like this backpack that you have to carry around with you to a particular area. And this backpack makes you move very, very slow. This is part of, I believe, the trade missions you can do overseas to get Gilda stars. But I only did it in this continent, so all I got was gold. I can't believe no one's walking around with a backpack on. But I did this mission, and you walk so fucking slow. It's ridiculous. But you craft it, you take it to a designated area, and you get a hefty amount of gold delivered to you the next day in the mail. Yeah, there's no one at all. Huh. Anyway, let's go see my farm. Show you guys what I've been working on. Now, I can teleport to any of these places on this book. I can't open the book right now. I can teleport to any of those places on the book, but it does cost a resource. But that's a resource that I can craft pretty easily. And it's, all things considered, it's pretty cheap to make this. So, there is a material necessary to get around the world fast. But in my opinion, it's very easy to gather said material. You can see the sun is going down. This game does have a day-night cycle. And some quests are actually reliant on the day-night cycle. There is this epic quest I have that I can only do at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. That's all I've run into so far. It's literally only that one quest that I've encountered in my 17 levels of play. Maybe I shouldn't show you guys where my farm is, because I feel like that would make it pretty easy for someone to come in and just take all my shit if I forget about it. But these are... Oh, are these? No, these aren't done. This is my mushroom patch. I have some geese over here too. I'm waiting for them to mature. So after you plant anything in your farmland, it will take some time for them to grow. My mushrooms are going to be ready in 44 minutes. This is MF Girlfriend Times, motherfucking Girlfriend Times farm over here. She's letting me use it while she's offline. And I'm using it to grow as many mushrooms as I can, as well as a few geese. I need these geese for a trade mission. I have to take their feathers. These mushrooms are used for this crafting in this game is so goddamn complex. It's used for alchemy mostly. But I have to take the mushrooms and then use this item called a salt knife or something, and then it'll break them down into a material called medicinal powder. And then I can use this medicinal powder to create potions and things like that. But this material is also used for trade missions, which is something that I'm working on as well. Once I complete my next trade mission, I'll get a donkey that I can ride on. That'll make my trade missions go a little bit quicker. But the crafting in this game is incredibly complex. For instance, if I show you my proficiencies, all of these are a different form of either crafting or gathering. And you can max out all of these. Your character can go into every single crafting profession and max them out if you choose to do so. Now, doing any type of profession will spend labor points. You can see I have 2 XP bars down at the bottom. The big one spanning across the entire screen is my, combat XP, I guess we'll call it. When I go out and kill stuff, it'll raise my level. Now, labor is, like I said, used whenever you gather something, and you accumulate more labor points over time. And I think the reason for that is to make sure that people don't bot, because if you run out of labor points, you can't pick things up off the ground. And another reason I think the labor point system has been established is to make it so you actually have to rely on the in-game community. You can't just farm everything yourself, which is cool and it's bad. I mean, I can see positives and negatives to both those features. And I know a lot of people who, when they play MMOs, all they want to do is sit down and farm. And farm and farm and farm and farm and farm. I'm not one of those people. So I can go in and I can spend my labor points when I want to, save them up when I don't need them. And it's a pretty decent system. I don't know if they're... Well, I should be able to track it, actually. Respawn base. Where's the closest one? Okay. So I'm going to go to this respawn base to hopefully show you guys something. We'll go to a different one because that one's right here. I want to talk about the mounts. So this is my mount. Her name is Sasha. She's a lovely saber-tooth whatever the fuck. She is a snow-maned snow lion. Oh, yeah. Her name's Sasha. I love her. I love her with all of my heart. And the cool thing about mounts in this game is you don't just get them. You know, like in World of Warcraft, you're given a horse and you're like, yay, I have another horse. In this game, you have to raise your mount. So I got this mount as a small little cub, and I had to nurture it and interact with it in order for it to grow up. Now, granted, it was a very, very fast process because it was on a starter quest, and they wanted you to, like, hurry the fuck up and get a mount. They gave it to you pretty early in the game. I got it in a starting zone. But I love that. I genuinely love that. You have to raise it up. It's not just something that's given to you. It makes it more meaningful. You want to look after your mount a little bit more. And you can have your mount even when you're not riding it. It'll follow you around in combat, and you can see I'm level 17 and my mount's level 16. My mount will grow in effective. It'll basically get more health the higher level it is. And I believe at some point we can actually get our mounts to help us in combat, although I have not reached that point in the game yet, so I don't know if it's totally true. We're coming up on the area I wanted to show you guys. It'll be on the right-hand side of the road over here. By the way, I'm running this on fully max graphics. It's pretty breathtaking at sometimes. Pretty beautiful. This game definitely has its moments. But even recording at 60 frames per second like it isn't a thing in the world. Okay, over here off to the right, we have a priestess. Now, the class system in this game is awesome. It's kind of like Rift, kind of a little bit, kind of maybe a little bit, but way more in depth. So, these are all of the classes in the game. Or all of the talent trees, I guess I should say, in the game. Battle Rage, Defense, Occultism, Sorcery, Songcraft, Witchcraft, Auramancy, Archery, Shadowplay, and Vitalism. They all do different things, they all have their strengths, and they all have a limited number of spells and passives that you can select from each of the trees. You determine your class by combining these talent trees. For instance, I'm an Argent. The reason I'm an Argent is because I'm an Auramancy, Battle Rage, Vitalism character. I could change these at any time at all I wanted to. Again, assuming I had money. I'm still waiting on the mail. But assuming I had money, I could say, you know what, I don't want to do Battle Rage anymore. I don't feel like running in with the weapon. Let's switch in Witchcraft instead. Literally, how you switch it is by clicking on the 2 and then changing. I don't have the money to do it, so we won't, but it's very, very easy. Now, what happens is Witchcraft would be taken into my spec at level 10. So I would have to level Witchcraft up along with my other classes as I'm progressing through the game. You can see Vitalism is 17. Vitalism is 17 because I've had it the longest. It's what's been in my build the longest, so it's kept up with my level just fine. But I really, really like the craft system. And you're not required to take any of these talents. For instance, if you look at the Auramancy tree, I was like, you know what? I don't really want this first talent. I just went straight for the second one. You can pick and choose whatever you want in these, but there is a there is a level requirement to get certain spells. Absolutely adore the class system in this game. I think combined there's a total of 120 combinations that you can pick from. And it's important to note that you could do that whenever you want to. I mean, I know I already said that, but it's just weird to think about. That you can drastically change a character like that in an MMO. Even in Rift, that had a very robust talent system, you were still a warrior at the end of the day. Didn't matter which trees you picked, you were still a warrior. On this, I could be a mage tomorrow. I could be a healer the next day. Now, you are going to need a certain amount of gear in order to be effective at certain things. For instance, plate gear, it gives you strength and stamina, makes you tankier, makes you hit harder with melee weapons. Leather gear gives you agility, and cloth gives you intelligence and spirit, making you better at casting spells and healing. Certain weapons are inclined towards a certain purpose. For instance, I still have a staff because I used to be an occult sorcerer, vitalism, whatever the fuck that makes. I don't know the names at all, but I used to be that. I haven't found another weapon yet. I haven't found, I think I need a great club in order to be effective at healing, which is what I want. I want to be able to jump into combat, be tanky, which is why I'm wearing plate. I want to be able to jump into combat, be tanky, but still be able to heal those around me. And I need that healing efficiency from a great club in order to make that happen. At least that's my theory. You know, I'm not a pro at this game at all. These are my first impressions, what I think of the game so far. So, I want to show you just how the gathering works. And then I think that's about it. So if this interests you, I do want to make a guild for viewers. It's something that I did in Rift, and I really enjoyed it. It's something that I did even before that in Warframe. We ended up having one of the biggest Warframe clans there were, something like 600 people in it at its prime. It's something I really enjoy doing. I like interacting with everyone. I like bringing the community together to have fun. Now, the problem with this is Archeage has had one of the most abysmal launches of any MMO I've ever seen. Their servers are at capacity all the fucking time. I mentioned I took 2 days off of work to play the game. Yes, part of that was relaxing and enjoying myself, and I didn't want to stop playing. The other part of that is the fucking fact that if I logged out, I would not be able to get back in. Some days when I tried to play, I was waiting 9 hours in queue, and I don't want to do that. I made a video about it, about the ridiculous queue times, and then people were calling me a casual. So here's a tree that's grown up on a mountain, so not a lot of people have gotten to it. I could just go ahead and cut this tree down. It's in the open world. This doesn't belong to anyone. It's just something that's spawned in the open world, and I can cut down. And you see I get some logs in my inventory, and the tree will actually fall. I think. Please fall. There you go. And now that tree will disappear. I cut down a tree that was in the world. Something about that is so good. Alright, so I have a normal mining spot, which is right down here. I was working on mining before the video started. So, more in depth with what I was talking about with the terrible queuing is the fact that because so many people were coming to my server is actually race restricted now. I'm playing on the Kyrios server, Eastern Province, but even if you wanted to, you could not come on my server right now and make a character because it's locked, which makes it incredibly difficult to make a guild for viewers when the only viewers that could play are the ones that are on this server already. Now, that lock is only temporary. It will be lifted, according to the developers. This is my favorite place to go mining, by the way. Kind of walk up in here. It looks like this guy's going for some too, so we'll go for this one. But the lock is only temporary. But I've had people, like friends of mine, real life friends of mine, wait in queue for 9 hours and then realize they can't make a fucking character on the same server I'm on. And that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Tryon has launched games before. This is not their first MMO launch. They published Defiance, and like I said, I believe they developed... Oh, shit. I want it. Oh, you son of a bitch. They published Defiance. They published Rift. This is not their first time publishing an MMO. Granted, this is probably one of the most ambitious MMOs they've done in a while, but they did alpha testing for months. They did beta testing. They had like these special event weekends where they could stress test their servers. And they just should not be having this much trouble with people wanting to log in and play their game. I mean, what else do you fucking expect when you host an MMO? Geez, we just didn't think people would want to play it, so we didn't get more servers. Like, it's so ridiculous to me. So would I recommend playing Archeage? Absolutely. Would I recommend playing Archeage right now? No. I really wouldn't. It is a game that I could see myself giving a lot of my time to. I could really see me jumping into this world and just getting encapsulated with it. But is that worth sitting in a queue for 9 hours? Absolutely not. I mean, an average working person gets home from work at what, 6 o'clock? If they're sitting in a 6-hour queue, it's time to go to bed and go to work the next day. Like, there's no way a normal person would be able to play this game reliably right now. That being said, I work at home and I sit in front of my computer all day, so I can just queue it up and play whenever. I think I'm a little bit of a special case in that regard. It's incredibly fun. I want to make a guild with viewers. It's just I can't recommend a game that people can't play, you know? which leaves me very conflicted. Which is why I wanted to make this video. I wanted to share those thoughts because this game is doing so many good things. And if this looks like something you want to be a part of, then by all means, be a part of it. But my server is locked right now. You can't play with me. Even if my server wasn't locked, you're looking at least 6 hours to get in as far as the queue goes. And that's even with the patron status. So the patron status is a subscription. This is a free-to-play game, by the way. Totally free to play. But if you decide to pay monthly, which I did because I wanted to support it, you get a higher priority in queue. I'm still waiting 6 hours to play most of the time, with that patron status, with giving this company money. I still have to wait that long. So it's just something to think about. I definitely fucking think it has potential. And I know this was like all over the place and disjointed because I didn't really prepare for this video at all. I was just like, you know what? I'm not doing anything. I'm just farming. Let's go ahead and talk about my thoughts. I'll share my opinions with you guys. So, sorry if that was a little bit all over the place, but hopefully you found it insightful. Like I said, I would love to play with viewers if you want to get on the Kairos server. That's, of course, the North America region. We are on the Eastern Province. Hey, level 18. What can I get now? Anything good? Can I get that yet? No? Okay. So, thank you all for watching. I'm going to keep mining. Trying to build a boat. Trying to build a boat. I know I don't need all this ore for a boat, by the way. I'm just getting it anyway. Because why not? Because then I have it. Because then I have it. How are those ribs? They were hot. And a little sweet. Nah, I ruined that. It's sweet and a little spicy. Or spicy. Spicy! And a little sweet! Okay, bye. So it came to my attention that I went through that whole video without once talking about combat, which is obviously an important part of MMOs. So let me just mine this last thing and I'll show you a little bit of combat. So a lot of it works on combos, which is really, really cool. So, for instance, if I hover over this, you can see towards the top, Battle Rage, and then the icon under that to the right is the effect using this ability gives. And then it shows you what it also combos with down at the bottom. So a lot of this turns into comboing certain effects together. For instance, if I rush in, hit him with my 1, it'll combo for bonus damage. If we can, I'll just stand over here and heal for a second. We'll reset. Go back in. And I should be able to do a triple combo for more bonus damage. And this not only works when you're playing solo, you can combo off your own abilities. This also works in a group. Motherfucking girlfriend time and I were walking around testing this out a little bit. So she could go in and slow them down, and then I could combo. And then she could combo off of my combo, and I could combo off of her combo. And we were just doing these massive damage chains. And it was actually really, really interesting. But as far as combat goes, I mean, it's all just tab targeting stuff that you've become accustomed to in most MMOs. But you can do some interesting stuff with combos. It kind of reminds me of a nice balance between what Final Fantasy XI used to do with their... obviously, it's not as extravagant. In Final Fantasy XI, you could do these weapon skills, and if you comboed them together, like your screen would explode in fire, and all this amazing visual shit would happen. Yeah, it's nothing like that. But you do get nice combo bonuses. And I definitely think that could be a very interesting mechanic in group play. Definitely an interesting mechanic. So once again, I'll show you the combos one more time. And you can see the status effects I'm laying into the enemy at the top of the screen. So we're causing him to be shaken. We're startling him when we smash the shit out of his head with our staff. And when we dive in, we trip him and then beat the shit out of him by spinning and winning. So that's my basic combo. And again, you can come up with your own combos by selecting certain abilities from certain trees that work well together. It's such a fucking cool system. Yeah, I couldn't believe I went that whole 30 minutes without talking about that. So I thought we should probably go back and talk about that. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Bye.